How's it going, guys? It's T-Guy Ty here. Today I'm going to be focusing on an Equinox build. Recently I've been getting into Warframes that can do a lot of damage in a large area of effect, basically nuking Warframes. And I think Equinox still falls into my playstyle of being a support. So I want to jump into Equinox, but I mean, everybody knows that Equinox can be a very confusing Warframe. So the first thing I want to do is explain the abilities, because a lot of people might have be playing for years and still not really understand exactly what Equinox does as a Warframe. So, passive. It's basically like a mini equilibrium, just a little bit of health gets turned to energy and a little bit of energy gets turned to health when it comes to the orbs. Metamorphosis. Everybody knows that this just switches between day and night forms, but what a lot of people don't know is that it gives a small buff whenever you do. Whenever you switch into day form for a small time, you get, well, actually it's not a small time now that I look at it, it's almost a minute with my build. You get you get a damage multiplier and a speed increase. Whenever you switch into night form, you get more survivability. You get extra shields and you get a decent amount of extra armor. I did switch off the second ability because I didn't see myself using it very much. What her second ability usually does is when you're in night form, it puts people to sleep. Everybody knows that one because it used to be meta when it came to leveling up Warframes. And in the day form, what you do is you cast on people and they speed up. So it was basically like a discount speedva, but it also made them more vulnerable to damage, which is also discount speedva. If you want to do something like that, just play Nova. I switched it off for Terrify because um, her fourth ability, which is the nuke, it did a lot of damage, but I did notice that it had a damage reduction. Even though it was slash damage, it wasn't doing a lot of damage and it was getting reduced by the armor. I'm assuming it's because while it is considered a slash tick, I think it's coded in as just like ability, like just like an ability damage and not like a slash damage. So I think that's why it's being affected by armor. So I went with Terrify to kind of get alleviate that issue. Now, her third ability, I don't see myself using it all the time, but it does help on occasion. So in night form, once again, her night form is more focused on support and survivability. So what her night form third ability does is the um the damage that enemies do to you is reduced. It's like having toggleable extra armor. And then in day form, that one's actually pretty helpful whenever you're trying to support. It gives your allies within ability range, it gives extra ability strength. And that's pretty dope. There's not a lot of Warframes that can do that, and the ones that can do that are not very popular. So, being able to do that for your teammates is pretty cool. The fourth ability, the night form, actually surprised me. I do find myself having a lot of fun with it. So on my build, I do have the first ability augment, so I can switch between the nuke and the night form of the fourth ability. Which I'll go ahead and explain that real quick. Everybody knows how the day form works. It's just like an AoE slash damage over time, and then whenever you set it off, it does a big AoE slash proc. And then the night form, it gives you shields per kill. It also has a health multiplier. Let's see. Deactivate while in night form to restore health and shields for Equinox and her allies. And yeah, it doesn't really explain what the health multiplier is by a 0.75%. I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what that one does. If anybody has any idea, feel free to let me down below. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with this. So let's just go ahead and jump right into simulacrum so you can see exactly what I mean. I have a lot of fun with this. So as you can see, I have 370 shields, and right now I'm in day form because I'm shiny and white. That's just my fashion. When I switch into night form, I'm more of a dark, so that's how I can tell. So I activate my third and my fourth ability. I take less damage. As you can see, because I switched, I went from like 300 something shields to like 500 something. That's pretty dope. Also, when I get kills, you saw how many shields I got? That's really good. And with the build that I went with was a slam build because I thought one of the fastest ways to charge her fourth ability was just to do a lot of damage. And recently I have been enjoying the slam builds. So as you can see, I'll pause real quick. You can see right here, this is the number that you want to keep an eye on. And that goes up by a lot when you do a lot of damage. Once you get about 10, maybe 15 million, you can nuke level 160 Steel Path scaled enemies. So I like to stay in night form and just make sure I top off all my shields. And then whenever I'm ready to nuke, I switch to my day form. As you can see, I'm running around a little bit faster. I have my speed increase. I also do extra damage. I will armor strip, although I don't have to do it when it's scaled up this much. Press the fourth. Done. And recently, all the Warframes that have been coming out that nuke, they need line of sight. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So I'd like to show you the Equinox. Since she was made so long ago, that wasn't really much of a problem. So we'll go ahead and charge up the damage on her fourth ability real quick. We might as well have the third ability active for the extra ability strength. We'll charge up that number. Now let's take a peek at this. If we use Terrify, did not need line of sight. Use the fourth ability, did not need line of sight. So I think that's a really good combination between Terrify and the fourth ability, just being able to nuke pretty much everything around you. And you can switch between multiple playstyles, which I find really fun. They can break my shields, and I can bring it right back. Really good survivability. And while you can constantly regen your shields, every now and then you will get hit by like a really strong heat proc, and you have to like really keep up those shields. Or if you get hit by a toxin proc, you know that can definitely cause trouble for you. So I highly recommend having Rolling Guard on your build, because while you can regen shields and basically live forever, as soon as you get hit by one of those stats procs, you're a sitting duck just waiting to die. So you pretty much need Rolling Guard if you want to have a Warframe that isn't relying on Overguard instead of shields. So for Archon shards, I went with 2 parkour velocities because I do like moving around fast. I went with 2 ability strengths. I went with a casting speed. She feels a lot more comfy with a casting speed shard. We'll go ahead and take a peek at the build. So Ready Steel is really good if you want to go into slam builds. It gives you the extra initial combo. I'll show you this slam weapon I'm using right now. So with my Riven, I do not have any initial combo. With which one is it? Galvanized Reflex, you get plus 20 initial combo and it stacks up to 4 times, so that's like plus 80 initial combo. Just this alone is not going to give you enough initial combo to proc your Incarnons. Like, I think you need 6 times combo multiplier. We'll take a peek at it real quick. Bam. You need a 6 times combo multiplier in order to proc your Incarnons. So, Ready Steel will help you bump it up past the 5 times. And the Nira mods, both of these give increased slam damage from slam attacks. And I mean, if you're going with a slam build, you might as well go all out. I did have the extra mod capacity, so I went for it. Now, a few people have told me that the fourth ability does not actually scale with strength when it comes to the big boom. The only way you're dealing extra damage is if you charge it by simply just doing damage while the fourth ability is active. So you don't really need to mod for strength for that. I modded for enough strength so I could get armor reduction from my second ability. So I went with like the minimum amount of required strength. For the arcanes, of course, I always use Arcane Energize because I always mod for negative efficiency, and this just helps balance it out. Arcane Strike is really good for just recovering from those slams as fast as possible. There is a gimmick you can do when it comes to slamming, where you do a slam and then you can ignore like being locked into the ground for a second by just doing a roll afterwards. But if you're using a rolling guard build, you don't want to be constantly setting off the rolling guard when you don't need to. That could bite you. So I don't recommend that. So having Arcane Strike helps a lot with just see how long I sit there. So having Arcane Strike helps you get up a little bit faster without having to rely on a roll, so that you can save those for when you need them. I instinctively rolled. But now that this is probably procced, I get up just a little bit faster. Makes it feel a little bit more smooth. Also, another thing with slams, just a tip. While you can roll to get out of it a little bit faster, actually a lot faster, you can also do a little bit of a slide, and that gives you a little extra mobility. Just a little bit. So when you're in the animation, you can like hold down the slide button. Lets you slide for a little bit. When it comes to buffing this build a little bit, you can go with the priming. I do the Ceto Prime, Epitaph Prime. Both of these are really good at priming. I didn't really see myself using any of the focus schools, so I went with Matter-Eye just for diversity. So I can bring this build into pretty much anything, including like Eidolon hunts and Void Cascades, stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to talk about. So if you have any questions or anything you think that I can improve, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. And we can go ahead and jump right into some gameplay. How's it going, guys? So real quick, I did just want to go ahead and throw in this clip. So this number at the top right of the screen, this shows how much, the 902k, that shows how much damage you have stored in your fourth ability. If you have a high damage companion, the companion actually can charge that for you. As you can see right here, it basically went up 10 times as much damage. I highly recommend that for your setup. We'll go ahead and jump straight into some gameplay. So I think I want to jump into just a quick exterminate. Public, steel path, so that we can show off how our we can show off some survivability, some support, some damage dealing. Of course, I am showcasing a slam build, so of course it's going to have offensive capabilities more than just the nuke. Slam shot's really good for mobility. Boom. Oh, I'm not a fan of this tile set. I think I squeeze in through here. Yep. So I've got the black fashion on, so I can switch to the white one for a little bit extra speed. Activate my fourth ability. I can run up here. Just help my teammates get some kills in advance. Jump in the middle and do a quick nuke. My teammates are catching up with me, so I can switch to night form and help them get some shields. I think I have a Dante on my team or something. Yeah, I do have a Dante on my team. Everybody has Overguard besides me. I think I've given people enough shields, so I'll switch back into day form. Give some extra ability strength. Do a nuke. Channel the ability back. Do like... I think I can do a pretty decent nuke after like 3 or 4 slams. Boom. Jump into this hallway, and that's actually not a lot of dudes. I'll just do a slam. The next time I see a group of enemies, nuke. Really simple. I wanted to make a really good like nuking build, and I thought one of the fastest ways to charge the nuke was a slam because of just how much raw damage it deals. So I kind of did like a slamming and nuke hybrid build. I think it's really fun. Also with slam builds, whenever that green laser pops over you, you can just do a slam. The radius is so big it just insta-breaks it. Not many melees can break those. Yeah, really fun stuff. I didn't even have to use my Terrify. Once I start going into like way higher level content, I can use the Terrify for the armor strip. And yeah, that was a quick little gameplay showcase. I think I showed off pretty much everything I wanted to, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.